Good evening. Welcome back to the Build a Basement. Part 2 of a live series of putting together a VORON 2.4 very slowly. First 3D printer I put together from scratch. I do have an Ender 5. I don't call that building a printer. That was pretty much an assembled unit that put a couple items on. This was built from scratch. Really impressed with the qualities of this particular printer. That's why I'm building it. Not a lot of time this evening, so this isn't going to run very long. Plan on probably about 30 minutes or so. As of yesterday, I was able to get the frame built. Outside frame, we're nice and square. I don't have rails on yet. I don't have the base on yet. Tonight, I want to get the base on. Or at least the supports for the base. I've gone ahead and I actually cheated a little bit. I put in my T-nuts down here in the bottom. Started pre-assembling the bracketry to attach those items. So basically what you have is a 45-degree corner. Inside of these, what makes these up is some parts here. You got a little spacer or a shim. Basically is a more precision type of washer, a little bit thicker too. It's not stamped, it's supposedly machined, although this looks stamped to me, but get that little guy is made of brass. And that goes on your smaller of your M5s. I believe it's an M5 10 screw. So your M5 10 screw. You got your shim on there. That makes up that guy. And this one right here is your M5 16. So that goes there. And the best way I've found to do this is to basically put in your 16 first. Put a little of our Loctite on there. And then you're going to want to slide your small one after that. So let's set this aside real quick. Grab these two rails. This one I have already put the angle on there. I have not on the other side of this. So that's where we're going to start. Start to screw up. And I know I said it before in the previous video, but these are steel screws going into aluminum. So at least keep that in mind when you are tightening this stuff up and you're putting it together. All right. You do that in the other order where you put the small screw in and then try to put in your longer 16, it's going to catch. So I suggest that you do your long screw first. Actually, leave this out completely. Put this in, get it started. Sorry about that. Doesn't want to play right now. Cross thread these. There we go. And much the same way I was doing it last night. I'm going to grab another piece of extrusion. I'm just going to use it as a guide. Keep that straight while I'm doing this. Hold it down tight. Hold it tight to the side. Like that. Flip it around. These are perfectly square, the extrusions, or at least they should be. So it doesn't matter which way you're putting them on, as long as they're square. Square the side, square the bottom. He's actually a little proud to the tops, but I'm not overly concerned about that yet. I might be in the future here, we'll see. So push this all down, kind of squeeze it together at the same time. Okay. And look what I did. I did a silly. We're going the same direction. All right. Put that in. And all right. So we'll get those two built. That for a second. So at this point, I'm going to bring this guy back over. And these are basically going to sit like so on the frame. So one thing that always kind of makes me wonder is how they're lining up. I guess you can kind of do it by feel, but all right. And these, if you look at the manual, it tells you not to tighten them very much. There's two reasons for that. One is we're probably going to have to move them to the center of them. There's no measurements in the manual when you put it together as to where they want them specifically. So there's that. And that's coupled with the fact that when the bed heats up, you want these to have a little bit of give in them. So that they're able to move a little bit. Of all the things that can and will move, these are something that you need to be able to move with the heat. All right. Just a little bit more. Yeah. Just enough. All right. So, before I forget, try to get a few views here and there, but really are trying to build a channel here. This is kind of a start, but there's a bunch of other stuff that we do. Plan on trying to get my son to help me out with this a little bit. He's a little busy right now with Rocket League, but he's promised me he's going to help. But anyways, yeah, so subscribe if you're at all interested in this type of stuff, 3D printers. I do home automation. I play Home Assistant. Do reviews on some tools, reviews of the things I use. Back to the home automation stuff, Habitat, energy monitoring in the house, 3D printers. I do some play with some drones. I do some things with Raspberry Pis. I pretty much do a lot of things. And spent a lot of years doing a lot of things. So I'm into doing fun things, projects, things like that. If you're also interested in that, maybe there's some information you will find helpful. You know, so subscribe if you're all interested in that. So going through, at this point, we are at the point where we are putting on the Z-axis rails. Now, again, this is a FORMBOT kit. So the kit I bought is not the most expensive kit out there that you can buy. It's not the most expensive parts. I honestly do not have a problem with buying parts from Japan or Germany or China or wherever they're from, as long as they're quality parts, because I think everybody's capable of making quality parts at this point. Obviously, there are some manufacturers that specialize in making some items, and they tend to do it better, and that's why they specialize in doing those items. That being said, most of the parts in this kit, from what I understand, are from China, sourced not only based on needs but also on price to try to keep this kit down as low as possible. I've heard it said that if you were to build this in the States, that you'd be looking at between $3,000 and $4,000 if the parts were sourced in the States, it was manufactured in the States, and it was sold as a complete unit. The FORMBOT kit is substantially less than that. So that all being said, one of the things that people say you should do is kind of check out your rails. So this is a rail. This is a linear rail. If you're coming from a Creality or a similar printer that utilizes kind of a carriage and wheels situation, so basically rubber wheels that ride on a carriage and basically just compress onto that, this is a night and day difference from that. Those can collect dust. They also have a lot more friction in them. These rails are relatively smooth, and like I said, these are not the top of the line rails. I kind of went over these in my unboxing video, which is posted on my channel here. But one of the things that they tell you to do, or I've seen to do from some folks, is kind of look at your rails, test them out, and see if any of them are better than others. All of mine were pretty much the same, but if there were any that had any small differences in how well they worked, the suggestion was to make those ones your Z-motion rails, and the reason for that is that's kind of one of the areas that moves the least, even though it's going to move for every single print. It's only stepping based on layer height, so it's not constantly moving, or at least most of the time it's not constantly moving, depending on what you're building or what you're printing, I guess. So they say to use your least favorable rails for your Z motion. So this guy right here slides really well, really quickly, and there is a substantial difference in how quickly and how smoothly those ones go. But they all are smooth. I mean, I would say that all of them are smooth. They're all good. So I don't have any problems with them. I'm going to use them as is. They came with the kit, so there's no reason not to try them out. Unless one was completely messed up, then you won't buy a new one. If you are buying rails, you can get them from anywhere from about $12, $15 all the way up to $30, $40, depending on where you buy them, what length they are, and who the manufacturer is. That being said, all right, so next portion of this build is us attaching the rails. One of the things that came with, or I had to print off to get this going, are these guides. The STL files are included with your VORON download package, and these help you center your rails onto the extrusions when you're putting them on. So I printed off 2 of those. I have those. And those are actually showed right there in that screenshot as well. Center rail installation guide. They talk about staggering your fasteners, and I can tell you, based on the number of screws and T-nuts provided, it looks like they probably gave us enough to put them in damn near every single hole. But we don't need to. They're doing every other one in the picture, so I think we're going to do something similar to that. They're using M3 fasteners for this, along with some of your T-nuts. Specifically for these, I think we're using these T3s. So we got the T3 T-nuts right here. And so I think anybody watching probably doesn't have any idea what a T-nut is, but this is actually a preferred version of a T-nut. It's actually got a rounded body to it, so it can go into the rail a little bit easier. And there's also a ball bearing that's kind of spring-loaded underneath it, that kind of holds it in place for you, and then you have your hole for your actual assembly your screw goes into. That is one type. Another type of T-nut that you'll find that's probably half the price, if not less, to manufacture is a standard hammer T-nut. So with that guy, basically what you're looking at is a kind of a pressed out T-nut. It does not have a ball bearing in it to hold it in place. It does have a little curvature to it to get in, but it's strictly just a, yeah, well, they're both strictly mechanical, but this one is definitely a cheaper version that is cheaper to manufacture, cheap to have, but we'll need those later on from what I can see. So M3 T-nuts, M3 by 8 screws. There. All of them are black, oxide coated. So with that, let's look at what we got to do. All right. So based on that first picture, looks like the only other note that they're putting in there is that they want us to let's see here, tighten them sufficiently to hold the extrusion without over tightening them. And then the rail spacing, the only thing they have in there is the fact that they want to space rails 3 millimeters off the bottom, which we will do. And right there. And I'm going to take a quick pause real quick here. All right. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to flip this over. I suppose try to work it vertically. Try to get so it's easier for me and easier to see. So again, they're saying keep it 3 millimeters off the bottom. So I'll do that. So first things first, I'm going to count how many actual screws and how many T-nuts we're going to need. 3 over equal to 1. I get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh, I hit the very bottom. 9. So I'll go 9. I'm going to double the end one up towards the top. Actually, I'll double the bottom because it's going to spend more time down there than it is up top. So we need to get 9 in there. How are these going to be spaced? But here's another concern: is the spacing on? Well, I guess we're going. I guess can we fit 2? Can we fit 2 of these guys end to end? Yeah, that goes perfect. Okay. So I'm going to put the first one in. That. Second one in. That. Those kind of just pop right up once you get them in the right spot. And 7 more on this track. So put them all the same direction. That. 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 And it's going to be double count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. One more. It's 9. There we go. Now all we have to do is line them up. Use to line these up. Yes. Use X key. Place you guys up there. This one there. This one there. And this one right about there. 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 This one. 2. Math is not my strong suit tonight. All right. There we go. So, doing every other one. I did double up the one on the end. That's what I'm seeing here. I think I have plenty to do that with. If not, I do have some additional T-nuts I can use. The reason I'm doing it that way is, again, when you're printing, most of your printing, unless you're printing something extremely tall, is going to be near the bottom. So why not make it a little bit stronger at the bottom? And I might be completely wrong, and I'm sure somebody will let me know if I am. So let's see here. We got to get a smaller bit. Start these off by hand. Up real quick. Now, turn this all the way down. I did a really quick review on this Dremel for the screwdriver. Basically, it's a push to drive type of thing. So you just push it down, and it activates. You got a button as well, but all you have to do is push it down. It actually works pretty well. It all makes pretty decent stuff, at least in my experience. Bosch makes one. Stupid more expensive. And a couple of people make them as well, but I was able to pick that up at Lowe's. So threw the guides on there, so that basically should keep you centered, just like that. And then the last thing is, it told me to keep 3 millimeters off from the top, or from the bottom, I should say. So 3 millimeter. 3 millimeter should be, this is an M3 screw, so I should be able to just use one of these screws, I guess. If I can just, a little bit might be too much to do with. That's pretty close right there, yeah. So between that and that, take these down a little bit. And honestly, based on the forces that we normally deal with a 3D printer, even this is way overkill. The amount of screws going into this, I think. I am not an engineer, but based on two things, the fact that I've heard other people talking about it, and based on the fact that everything else I've seen, the VORON in general is kind of overkill all the way. To the extent that if something can be overbuilt without being outrageous, they've gone and done that. All right. All right. So, glide smoothly, top to bottom. Right. And that. So that's our first linear rail on this, on our Z-axis. There's going to be 4 more on there. So basically, there we go. So basically, that's the base to put the bed on. We got that on there. We put on one linear rail. The other 3 are going the exact same way. Like I said, it's going to be a short video tonight. So that's going to be on this portion of the manual. That leaves us at page 16. Page 17 is blank. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put the other rails on this. They're going to be exactly the same as the first one. If I do write any snafus, I will let you know. Probably not going to record putting on those other 3 rails. It doesn't seem like a good use of your time. So when I come back, all my Z-axis rails will be on here, and I'm going to start assembling this. So what we're looking at there is ABS, both accent and main, stepper motor, some gearing, some belts, and the rubber feet. So these, actually, just so you can see where we're going to be with that, get back to the top here. Those guys, 4 of them are these guys right here. There are 4 stepper motors that control your Z-axis on the VORON. So all 4 of them sit underneath each of the corners with rubber feet with their motors. And that's what we're going to do next time. So again, I mentioned in the beginning, mentioned it again. If you're interested in what I'm doing, if you like what I'm doing, if you want to see more videos, please comment. Let me know what you think. Let me know what I can do better. Let me know what you do like. Let me know if there's other things you want me to do videos about. Like I said, I have a lot of interest in a lot of different things. Basically, if it's electronic, if it's computer related, I probably have done something with it. And if I haven't, you know what? I'm willing to learn. And maybe that's learning with you. Different insight, different perspectives sometimes helps. But anyways, all that aside, leave me comments. Let me know what you like, what you don't like. Subscribe to the channel. Help me out. Just need to see if people are interested in this or not. If not, you know, I know there's plenty of people out there building things. It does seem like that most of the people that are doing these types of things either have engineering degrees or have been doing it for a decade. I have not. So hopefully having that type of perspective is good. So anyways, subscribe, comment, appreciate it, and I'll see you next time.